All right. Trying to see what happened to that. All right. Alicia Reece Soul Food on the radio. And we've been moving and grooving. Do me one favor. Let's play that. Can we play that back one more time? Alicia Reece Soul Food. Can we go back to the screen so we can get our take me off screen and get the there we go. Okay, we're gonna play it one more time. We're gonna run, but they call that run that back. Run it back. We're gonna run it back. We're gonna run it back. And then we'll see if we can get this backdrop together. Yeah, okay.
Alicia Reece Soul Food is on your radio now. Bringing that hot sauce to your radio dial. Yeah. Alicia Reece Soul Food is on your radio now. Bringing that hot sauce to your radio now. Alicia Reece Soul Food is on your radio now.
All right. Okay. We getting it together now. And want to thank my crew for helping me out. I had to run in here real fast. Here we go. Let's see how we look on screen. Let's gonna get it going. See where we at. Okay. There we go. There we go. Hey, thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Been running, boy. It has been a doozy. And I'm gonna be honest with you, boy. It's a lot. So I know I got a show today. We got a great show. We've got our health segment coming up. But we've got a lot of hot sauce. We got the Washington Report coming up. But I'm going to just give y'all something real quick. Washington Report will be coming in with Congressman Greg Landsman in about 5 minutes. So we're going to give you some quick hot sauce. I don't know if we can run that. If we can't, don't worry about it. But it's that time. It's time for the hot sauce moment. All right, the hot sauce moment. And we got a lot of hot sauce. Only thing I was thinking, my lips and my sound are not matching up. Lips and sound are not matching up. Hopefully I'm on the Wi-Fi. I tell you, these last 2 days, anything that can go wrong has gone wrong. But we gonna move forward anyway in these last 2 days. Just want to make sure on here my the ones because I'm on my guest. Come on, are y'all seeing that too? My lips are moving slower than is looking right on the on social media platforms. Okay, because on my frame it's like I'm delayed. I'm talking, but my lips ain't moving at the same time. So we'll just check that out. Let's see if y'all can. I know you can hear me on the radio. And one thing about the show, we're on radio. We're on radio, and we're on 2 radio stations and social media. So Aziza, you can give me a text if my lips. There we go. Okay, I caught up. I said, wait a minute, now we can't have no ventriloquist up in here. Lips and voice must match. Listen, it's the final days of Black Music Month. And I want to just remind y'all, Black Music Month, it was started. I'm so hot. We need to talk about that. Hot flashes. Black Music Month. And one of the pivotal creators, promoters, champions to have Black Music Month is from right here in Cincinnati. Ed Wright started at WCIN and went from WCIN to being with a major record label. And he was one of the champions for Black Music Month. You can learn more about him down at the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame. Now, the date for the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame is Saturday, July 25th. And if we want you to wear your all white attire, and Something's in my face here. We want you to wear all white attire, and it's going to be a great thing. And let's see if we can play. Let's play the promo so you'll know what's all happening this year with the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame. Let's take a
Black
look.
Music Walk of Fame. Free induction ceremony and celebration Saturday, July 25th at noon. Honoring the 2026 inductees Heatwave, WCIN, and the Legacy Award to Regina Bell with celebrity hosts John Murray and Don Juan Fashaw. Plus free performances by Shirley Murdoch, Regina Bell, Second Wind, and Midnight Star 50th anniversary concert. Wear your all white and march in with Lincoln Wear at the Parade of Stars and help us reach our goal of over 350,000 visitors.
So we're going to have an amazing time. It's Saturday, July 25th, and our inductees this year, WCIN. Our inductees this year are Heat Wave, WCIN. We've got performing live, the Legacy Awards going to Regina Bell. She's going to perform live her songs. Shirley Murdoch's going to grace the stage and sing her songs. She's going to turn it out as well. Midnight Star is celebrating 50 years of performing. They're going to have a big concert like you've never seen them before. That's outdoors. I mean, y'all spread the word and get your all white and get ready. And it's going to be amazing, amazing. Second Wind is going to kick things off. They're actually the house band, so they're going to be doing some special performances behind these folks. We got a major dedication that's going to be coming. And then Don Juan for show, our celebrity DJ. This thing's going to be amazing. Now, on July 10th, I will be broadcasting my show live. We're going to bring the hot sauce. We're bringing the hot sauce to Gold Star Chili. They said, I told them, y'all got the hot sauce. They said, we got the red hot. So we're going to do a big show there. And we start at 10:45 on July 10th. They're going to give out some free conies. We're going to kick off the countdown to the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame. Get it? Gold Star. And we give gold stars, right? It's going to be amazing. And it's absolutely free. I'll be broadcasting my show 12 to 1 from Gold Star on Mitchell Avenue. On Mitchell Avenue, right in front of the Kroger's there. And it's just going to be amazing. So you'll get more information. That's the countdown, right? We got to throw some hot sauce on it before we get going. So we're going to have a great, great show live, y'all, from Gold Star, okay? And so you'll hear more about that. And then we head to the major event, July 25th. Now, let me just tell you this. I know is my guest on ready? If he's not, he's ready. Okay, we're going to go to Washington. But when I come back from Washington, I'm going to tell y'all all this. Y'all going to say, why is Commissioner Founder Alicia Reece, what is going on? She's so tired. I got a small team. They're doing an extremely good job. We had a major, major kickoff at Hard Rock Casino. We have a major exhibit. Y'all got to go down there. We got the exhibit with Bootsy and the Star inside a Hard Rock Casino. Y'all got to go check it out over in the cafe. Then we had a huge, huge kickoff for Juneteenth in partnership with the library. And we have an exhibit there, free. All this stuff is free. Free. Go see it. You'll learn about these artists. It's Black Music Month. Learn about the Isley Brothers. Learn about Penny Ford and Snap. Learn about the OJs. Learn about Ohio players. The Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame, the goal, yes, I'm the founder. God gave me the vision, gave me the assignment, and I'm thankful. But the goal is to bring the legacies of these Black artists and musicians from Ohio, bring the legacies back home. So when you see these stars, you see the videos down there, we're bringing the legacies home. And it's where technology, I use new technology, meets the music legacy. Nowhere in the country has that. They need to have this in Forbes magazine, Inc. magazine. They talking about it. We doing it. I brought technology to meet the legacy and tell the stories of Black music legacies. So it's a park, it's interactive, it's It's edutainment, we call it. We educate and entertain at the same time. And guess what? I fight really hard to make it free. So we're going to tell you at the end, all this behind the scenes. You'll find out what it takes to put something like this on. And that's why I'm exhausted sometimes. But I keep going because the mission is so important. So with that being said, y'all hang on in there because we're going to Washington. Man, so much is going on with Congress and what we're hearing. So let's play the clip as we get in.
It's time for the Soul Food Report from Washington with Congressman Greg Landsman.
Boy, y'all are doing it. You got so much to deal with in Washington. You represent us in Washington. And boy, do we need representation. I want to start off with you, Congressman. You know, everybody's talking about he's walking around with these big checks, and I want to be clear about these big checks. I know a time for decades that nobody brought a check back to the 1st Congressional District. I would watch, and they would say, I'm voting no because I want to save money. And then I see somebody from Illinois, we'll take the money because the money don't go back to the pot. It goes to another district. And so I had some people teasing me back in the day. In Chicago, we love taking the money from the 1st Congressional District. You guys are always saying no, and the money's going to them.
It's our money.
It's our money.
I don't understand this. We send so much money to DC, and the goal is to get as much of it back to our community as humanly possible. Like that's everyone's goal, obviously in Congress. Not, you know, there are some people who, to your point, just say I'm going to vote against everything because I don't believe in,
they vote against all the money except their check.
I mean, it's you know,
they get their salary.
Like,
I just wanted to take this moment because I told some people this, you know, and I wanted to tell it to you publicly. And being an elected official myself, I know how it is. Usually we get a congressperson, they go to, you know, the country club events, the big business people, they know what's going on. They get the money, they got the lobbyists. But you as a congressman, I just got to tell you, and this is the truth, because you know I'm going to tell you the truth. You're the only one I've seen that went up there, as what I'll be saying too. We want our money back. And you're the only one that I've seen that's gone up there and brought some money back home. And so it's important to have the checks because a lot of times the community it never gets down to the community group level. It never gets down to the people that's in the community, the working people, the everyday people. And by you doing that, you're letting them know that the money has come back. You done got the money back, and now the money got to get to the people. Usually these things, you know, they'll invite you to come speak at an event, nothing against the Chamber of Commerce, but they'll have you come and speak, and they would know, but the people wouldn't know. And you've been all over this district every time I see you, and I like it. I don't like, you know, elected officials don't run around here empty-handed. You come back with some resources, and that tells us that you really are fighting to bring those resources home. And that is, to me, the number one job of the congressman going up to Washington. Go up there. We done sent our money up there. Uncle Sam done took our money. Now we got to get our fair share. And I just want to tell you, I do appreciate how you do that and let people know what's going on.
Thank you. That means the world. That's very kind of you and very generous, and I appreciate it. And especially coming from you, I don't think there's any higher praise. So yeah, and it's important to me. I mean, it's, you know, part of it is in the budget process. So we've been able to get all of our projects funded every year, and these are affordable housing projects. They're infrastructure projects, roads, retaining walls, roundabouts that communities are looking for. It's, gun violence prevention work. It's a whole host of things that the community said they wanted. They're all community projects. They're not my projects. They're not your projects. They're projects where a community, a part of the district said, we really want this roundabout funded, or we really want this affordable housing project done. We really want, this anti-gun violence work, supported. So anyways, and then we prioritize the ones that we think will have the most impact, and that to your point are closest to the ground, because that's where people have the most impact. That's where the dollars get spent the best in terms of impact. The other way, though, we bring money back is our constituent services work, which we do with you in the 513 relief bus, where we're going out and connecting with people and saying, look, we can help with your taxes. We can help with the IRS stuff that you're dealing with. We can help with Medicaid, Medicare stuff. We can help with the veteran services stuff. Same work that you do, right? We're all sort of in that same business, and we just crossed $25 million this week. $25 million that we brought back to the district. And if you don't think that's at the top of our list in terms of numbers that we're chasing, that's at the top that's $25 million that was ours that we've helped return back to families. And it's there's legislation that we vote on, there's bills that I've passed, but I think bringing back your money, because it's our money, is at the top of the list.
Yeah, bringing back the bacon. And let me just say, with the 513 relief bus, let me just say, we got this federal money and we had to make some choices. And one of the things I said, let's create this 513 relief bus. We have done over 61,000 services to people free, and no co-pays. I mean, we're just really saving money, but we couldn't do that without the partnership of the federal money. And I kept telling people, you got to see this. But it was Congressman Landsman who came and brought the interim HUD secretary, and we were in Avondale to see this bus. And she said there's nothing, she vouched for it. There's nothing in the country like it. It's only here in the 1st Congressional District. And then you brought the minority leader to town to speak at the NAACP, but said, you got to see Hakeem Jeffries, you have to see this bus. And he said, man, I need that in my district. There's nothing like it in the country. And so this partnership with Congressman Landsman, federal funds, county, and we getting it to the people. That's what the model needs to be. But we got to get the money, and then we got to make sure people down on the ground is getting the money to the people. So I wanted to say again, thank you again for the ARPA money. A lot of people forget about that. But y'all talk about that $100 million we did in rental assistance. We could not have done it without the Congress approving those dollars coming down here. And that's why things are drying up, because we don't have the Congress, we don't have the Senate, and we don't have the presidency. And so now things are, everyone's getting squeezed. So Congressman Landsman, what is it going on that the people need to know?
I mean, first, to this point, it's not like they've stopped spending money. They're spending even more money. Trump and the Republicans who are in charge of Congress, they spent trillions and trillions of dollars on tax cuts for the wealthy, for the top 1%, for big corporations. That was a lot of money that they spent. And to pay for those tax cuts for the wealthy, they cut Medicaid by $1 trillion. And so you're starting to see people lose their health care, which is outrageous and cruel and un-American. And it's going to be painful for families who lose their health care. It's going to be painful for everybody because costs are going to go up. It's just awful. But that's what they did. They cut Medicaid by $1 trillion. They cut these subsidies for the ACA. So fewer and fewer people can afford health care. And you now have about 5 million people out of the 24 projected that have already lost their health care, 24 million Americans. You're talking about tens of thousands of people in Southwest Ohio who are going to lose their health care because they spent all that money on tax cuts for the wealthy. They spent $4.5 trillion. And in that $4.5 trillion spend, that's on top of $1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid. And then, they spent another a total of $240 billion on ICE. So think about that. Remember when Harris was running for president, she said, look, I want a $50 billion housing fund, which was like, yeah, good. Let's do that so that we can get more affordable housing and more housing built. They just spent 5 times that on detention centers. Okay, on building these detention centers all over the country to detain human beings. And, if you wanted to go just after the criminals, that is a very small number. You wouldn't need a single new detention center, but they're trying to detain everybody that they believe they can get out of here. And some of these folks have been here for, a good chunk of their lives, working, doing jobs that we need them to do, including healthcare work. So they're still spending money. It's still your money. It's just not going to you, nor is it going to anything that you would support.
Yeah. We're talking to Congressman Greg Landsman with the Washington Report. Congressman, what is happening with voting? We've got an election in November, and because people want to know, what can I do? I'm frustrated. I can't take it no more. We don't even, people are losing jobs, and Congressman, they just act like, oh, well, just X amount of people lost their job, and these are good paying jobs, and it's not like we got new jobs to replace those. I'm running into too many people that said they either got rid of my department, forced me into early retirement, or said I got to move somewhere else and try to get another job in another state, uproot my family. Give us the climate of what's going on with the unemployment, and then what can people do? I just see so many people, they're frustrated. We're marching and doing all that, but where is their power? Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, voting is the most important thing, and not just your vote, but getting everybody to vote. So, the best thing that people can do is make a list of everybody they know, and reach out to them and say, hey, can you check your registration, or check their registration on their behalf? You just go to the Secretary of State's office. This is something you and I did a couple of years ago. We'll do it again, where we encourage, people to double check their registration and make sure that they are registered, because the state is purging voters that they don't want to vote, including, our friends, our neighbors, people that you and I care deeply about. So you got to check your voter registration more than once. You got to keep checking it, because they may mess with you. And then you got to make sure you have your voter ID, and that you vote. I'm encouraging everyone to vote the first minute you can. Just be done. Get everybody and then spend the rest of the month, because early voting starts usually about 25 days before Election Day. Spend the remaining 3 or 4 weeks just getting everybody to vote. But everyone should vote immediately, because they're going to make it very difficult on Election Day. For voters, they're going to have, they're going to go into precincts where they don't want big turnout, and they're going to have police presence or ICE presence or whatever it is that they think will help to discourage people to vote. And so the key is to use what's left in terms of voting to ensure that everybody votes, and it's not just your vote, it's everybody that you know and care about. That's the power. And then ultimately getting, those of us who are on the other side of this election, hopefully I'm one of them, to push people to have the courage to make the big changes. Because what I've seen in most of my lifetime, and certainly in my 3 or 4 years here in Congress, is that you have really good people, but they're not willing to take on those big structural issues that are causing the pain and the frustration. So the tax code, where hard work is no longer the priority in the tax code, it's wealth. And so people who have an extreme amount of wealth, they don't really pay anything, and the rest of us pay the tab. And so we're fighting more over fewer resources, because so much of the wealth is concentrated at the top. The only way to change that, which would lead to more jobs and better paying jobs, more healthcare and housing, is fix the tax code and start and get to a point where everybody at the top pays all their taxes. That'll allow us to balance the budget and to invest in housing and healthcare and better jobs. We also have to fix Wall Street, because so much of the money is going to consolidation and the elimination of jobs. So most of the money in Wall Street finances debt, right? So that people can go buy companies and lay people off. And you got to reverse that, where most of the money is going to create jobs, and that you tax, the debt financing, the consolidation of companies that lead to higher prices, fewer jobs, that gets taxed at a higher rate, so that more and more money goes to what's called traditional banking, which is the money that you and I use to, pay for, finance a house, to borrow, to start a small business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those are the big changes. And there's huge changes to our democracy. Yeah, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and voter suppression and partisan gerrymandering and dark money. But all of that requires, I think Democrats to have the courage to say, look, the only way forward here is huge structural change. Yeah.
And I think it's so important because things are changing. People want action now. For example, DC statehood could have happened. Democrats control the presidency, the Senate, and the Congress. They should have done it in the first 30 days. We move so slow. Democrats are methodical, but we've got to have George Floyd. We want something immediately in that. Like you said, John Lewis, we're tired of talking about it. But, we want that thing in place immediately. Now, on the other side, it seems like they move quicker, and people don't necessarily like their policies, but they like the fact that they take action. And so, Congressman Landsman, you and I have something in common because we are fighters, for the people. We want something now. But I think for Democrats, if they don't have a now agenda, they're going to become obsolete because people want something now. The bills are due now. I just came out against this Duke Energy getting going up again on people's electric bills. Now, I don't control that. I'm not on the PUCO, but I got to speak out. Somebody's got to say something. And so I think you're absolutely right. Step one is make sure you're registered, make sure you're still on the rolls. Step two, go vote quickly, as soon as you can. But then step three, the people that get elected, they want some action in the first 10 days. And so I think you're absolutely right. You've got, we did that with the ARPA money. I said, wait a minute, we got to help people right now. They got rent due right now. Let's do rent. But then also now we've got some investment future-wise, like you said, some future things. But you're absolutely right. And I'll be honest with you. I know we always frame it. I'm a marketer. We always frame it as we're going against the rich. Most people want to be rich. Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. They want to be rich. I don't know anybody that's walking around and said, I want to be broke. But what they want to do is, like you said, have equal distribution and access. So they can take care of their family. They can own their property. They can, if they want to rent, they can afford it. They can have, like you said, the American dream. They can have choices to be able to make it in America. That's the American dream, is to make it. So, I think we need to work on our language. And you've been talking, you've been a major voice in that with Democrats. We've got to turn our language, the same old thing. They ain't no good and they ain't doing nothing. But you ain't doing nothing. That's why you're saying, like you said, in Congress, you're saying, hey, we got to do something.
I mean, I just, it's, I've watched this, play out over the last few decades, where when these politicians, Republicans in particular, as it relates to the tax code, they get a budget. They want to spend the money on tax cuts for the folks at the top. And their argument for a long time was it'll trickle down. They stopped saying that because it never did.
Never trickled down. Trickled down. I call that Reaganomics. Trickled down. We still waiting on the drops. It never got down here.
They've stopped talking about it, but they're doing more of it. It's crazy. I mean, more and more money is stuck at the top. And like all those people are still going to be rich. But if I just look around and I see all my folks paying all their taxes, farmers, small business owners, moms, dads, grandparents, everyone's paying all their taxes. And then I look up were the people who just sitting on billions and billions, trillions, not even like rich people. I'm talking about like,
Gazillionaires.
yeah, I'm not talking about like the working rich in this country pay their taxes. Working rich, like the CEO of a company, like they, locally, they pay their tax. You got all these people, these money people, they're tech, guys.
Yeah.
They're sitting on hundreds of billions of dollars and they don't pay anything because what they do is they just borrow money against their assets and they live tax free.
Yeah. They know how to, like you said, get around the system.
That's Congress's fault. Like Congress set up a system that allowed them to do that. And that's not good for the country. And it's not fair in terms of opportunity. If all of the resources are stuck at the top, I still want people at the top, to hold on to, their wealth. I mean, they earned it, but they got to pay their taxes like everybody else, and they're not. And as a result, we're going broke. Yeah, fair share. Congressman Landsman, anything people see, when you were on last time, people came back to me and said, hey, next time he gets on, ask them about senior citizens. Anything new for seniors out there? I know they went up a little bit on Social Security, but then went up, everything else is going up. So yeah, I mean, the Social Security question is, it's a big one. We were out in College Hill talking to seniors last week, and I was saying, I think it's going to be a battle between two camps. There's the group of people who are in charge now, and the speaker, Mike Johnson, said as much last week. He said, look, Social Security, Medicare, those are entitlement programs. It's the entitlement camp that thinks, the only way forward is to cut. We have to cut, they say. And they're looking for all kinds of ways, and they're doing it by cutting staffing now so that, you are less likely to get your claim or have somebody pick up the phone, and it's just the delays save them money. I mean, they're nickeling and diming seniors, and that's the entitlement. We have to cut Social Security and Medicare for it to survive camp. And that's the folks that are in charge now. That's why you're hearing so much about the insolvency date, because at the moment they're saying, oh, this is going to be a problem in 6-7 years, right? And then you have my camp, which is like, oh, nope, the only way forward with Social Security is to appreciate that it's earned benefits. This is their money. It's not your money, federal government. And you have failed by keeping enough money in the system. And so you have to change the tax code so that the folks at the top, the super duper crazy wealthy, are paying into Social Security and Medicare. What happens is that you have, again, these super wealthy people, they Medicare and Social Security is paid for primarily through payroll taxes. They don't pay any payroll taxes because they don't take an income. Wow. They borrow, and that none of that money goes to Social Security or Medicare. And for, people making 10 million, 20 million, $100 million a year, they don't pay all of their Social Security taxes. They only pay on the first, $184,000. And so you can either fix the tax code and make sure that everyone gets all of their Social Security and Medicare, or you can have the entitlement cuts to entitlement camp went out and see Social Security, Medicare go down. And I'm very much firmly in the second camp. I think you got to fix the tax code to save Social Security, Medicare. I do not believe that it should be touched at all. And they're already starting to whack away at it. Wow. Congressman Landsman, you got a tough job up there in Washington. It's not like it used to be. How many seats are we away from having either a majority or making a dent as it relates to Democrats getting seats? What do we need? How many we need? We need 3. Democrats need to pick up 3, but we've also got there's about 10 of us in Trump districts. I'm in one of those Trump districts, so we have to keep these Trump districts, but I feel good. I mean, the energy has been off the charts. People are ready for change, and they're not. I've just never seen the kind of enthusiasm for a Democratic Congress to hold this guy accountable and start to turn the boat around. And then we have to pick up 3 seats in addition to that, but we also need the Senate, and we've got to pick up a couple of seats in the Senate. So we got to get flip Ohio back to get Sherrod Brown back in Congress. We got to win in a bunch of states, but based on where we stand at the moment, if everyone votes, we'll win. But they're coming after the votes. They're coming after people's votes. They passed another horrible voter suppression law in Ohio. The governor, it was so bad the governor vetoed it, but they're going to maybe override their veto. The president is saying no more bills through Congress. Literally, he shut the Congress down this week because he wants his voter suppression bill to go through so that no one can vote by mail and everyone has to go re-register, and women who've got a mate, who's their name changed, they got to start over. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Wow. Now that bill, did that pass?
It passed the House and the Senate won't pass it. And Trump is saying, I'm not going to sign any more bills, including this housing bill that we just passed, bipartisan housing bill, that will make it easier for us to build more housing. And over time, it will bring the cost of housing down. He won't sign it because he desperately wants to stay in power. And the only way he can stay in power is for this voter suppression bill to pass the Senate. So he's essentially holding the Congress and the country hostage. We'll see what happens. But if they pass that voter suppression bill called the SAVE Act, which would ban mail-in voting, and it would make 70 million married women, they'd have to jump through hoops to get back to voting.
Wow.
People overseas. It's just a mess.
That's a mess. But if you get the 13, if you hold the 10, you pick up the 3, then you're back in business. I don't know. You might have to. There's going to be a showdown. I only think about Democrats, we fold a lot sometimes. So I'm hoping that I know you don't, but the rest of them, we got to get them up there to hold that line, because if this, like you said, if this goes, we have a problem. There's a lot of talk about the Constitution, and, I wanted voting rights in the Constitution, by the way, and really was working on that in the state Constitution. But there are some things that I hear that they're coming after the Constitution. A lot of times it's tough because you have to have a constitutional a convention, but you got to have so many states that would sign on. Now, when I was at the State House, they talked about it, and they didn't get enough states to sign on, but there could be a possibility in opening up that whole thing that could be, dangerous.
Dangerous. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think that there are big changes to our Constitution, for the people, so there should be a counter. What they want to do is change it for the corporations. And I think there should be a similar conversation about doing it for the people, where we really lock in people's rights. The first constitutional convention was really a conversation. I don't think really much happened, right?
Yeah.
It was a debate. And so, if
we celebrate 250,
I'd like to go. I'll go.
Like I told him, as we in 250 years, and folks that look like me wasn't in there. We wasn't written in the Constitution. So, but again, it goes back to what you said. We get over. The people come out, they do their job, they vote. The people that get in, Democrats, you got to get to work. No more study commissions. That January 6th thing. We studied the problem. No, we don't want that. No more studying. No more who's going to be on what committee and who's going to be on television and who's going to be on. We don't want that. We need some fighters from the street, like you said, providing for the people. And let's get something done in 10 days. I mean, I got to give them credit. They ran and signed all them executive orders immediately. We get to studying and we fighting over who's going to be in charge. And we behind the scene, who's going to be seen, who's going to talk. And I'm telling you, the voter base has changed now, because now they done seen what the power of the presidency is. They've seen what the power of the Congress is. They've seen what the power of the Senate is. They've seen the power, and they want power to be exercised. No more, we can't do it, and we got to study it, and we got to have 55 hearings and all that. So that's what I love about you. And I know it's tough because you're just one of many, but we need 10 to keep and 3 to add.
Yeah.
10 to keep and 3 to add, and it's in the power of the people. Now, once the people do their job, like you said,
Our job, yeah.
Democrats, I'm sending a warning, and I'm a Democrat. So I'm saying the same
Me
thing.
too.
You
Me
a
too.
Democrat. We
Me
speak
too.
both for Democrats, but we know we got to get off our butts.
One
Quit
quick
talking
thing.
and let's do something.
I got to run, but I want to say this way because somebody asked me the other day. He said, "Well, what do you say to all these folks who are frustrated with the party?" I said, it was the first thing that came to mind. I was like, well, welcome. Like, the water's warm, man. I've been frustrated for years, decades of my life. Like, I ain't going anywhere. I'm not giving up. This is what I believe in. But yeah, like the Wall Street destroyed this economy, in 08, and we didn't really fix it. Right. Like there have been so many, like this tax code has been in place and gotten worse for working people with both Republicans and Democrats. I'm pissed.
Yeah.
So
and we are Democrats. You and I are Democrats.
Yeah.
So, but we do speak out because more than a title of Democrat or Republican or independent, it's about the people. And that's what I admire about you. Well,
Yeah.
Congressman Landsman, keep the fight going.
You too.
Thanks for keeping us educated on what's going on. And thanks for bringing the dollars back home.
Thank you.
We'll be back on with our voting is essential and educating, motivating, and activating so that the people have the tools to have the voice. So thank you so much. I appreciate
everything you do, Commissioner. We love you.
Thank you. Keep fighting.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, y'all. Y'all heard it from the congressman. Man, it's rough up in Washington. There's a lot of fights, a lot of battles. But this show is we're getting ready. Every month we deal with your health because you can't do nothing without your health. I mean, I'm working on it myself. You can't do it without your health. And cancer is a big deal. It's been killing. It's an equal opportunity killer. And we got to unite to fight. And so that's why I started the Cancer Caucus. We kicked off 2 years ago, and we're doing more screenings. We're doing screenings on the bus and all of that. I don't know if we've got that photo of our caucus, but we got a special guest coming up that we're super excited about. And want to talk to her about what's happening with cancer. What are we doing? What are we doing to fight it? So let's go get right to it. Let's get our guest on. I guess my photo couldn't get up. There it is. That's our Cancer Caucus. It's growing in Hamilton County, and we're going to keep fighting. My mother died of breast cancer at 57. I'm 55. So she went, super young, and so many others. So joining us, I'm super excited, from the Cancer Support Community at Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky.
Hello, I can't hear you. I think you may be on the muted side.
Uh-oh, I'm not muted.
Oh, there we go. Now I can hear
you. Hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, welcome to the program. We were looking, I said, she's out there somewhere in virtual land. We got to find her. Thank you so much for being on the show. And before you come on, I think it's important. This is our health segment. Do we have our graphic for the health segment? Sponsored by Interact for Health. Yes, this is our health segment, Alicia Reece Soul Food, and is brought to you by Interact for Health. And today we're talking about cancer. And, that's something that we all been scratching our heads on. How can we stop it, prevent it? Hamilton County numbers have grown, and we're going in the wrong direction as it relates to that. So, Miss Aisha, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and then we're going to get into the cancer and what you have coming up.
Sounds good. So my name is Asha Roan. I am with Cancer Support Community of Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. I am our Director of Health, Equity, and Engagement here. Been here for about 5 years, but just like you said, when I first started, I was just like, man, where are we? Where are we in these services? We offer great services here, but it's just very important that we get into the community and break down these barriers and be sure that we're reaching everyone. So health equity is near and dear to my heart. So that's why we are here today to talk about all things Cancer Support Community and our Health Equity Summit that we have coming up.
Okay, let's start from the bottom. It's very important. You deal with all forms of cancer.
Correct.
Okay. And then are we women-based or both men and women?
So here at Cancer Support Community, we focus on that social and emotional support. We provide free support services to anyone that's been impacted by cancer. So that's not just those that are in treatment. It's those that are in survivorship. It's their family. It's their loved ones. So when we say we're providing those programs, it's free evidence-based programs that are designed to improve the quality of life. So they all are to reduce that stress, anxiety, and depression, to prevent that unwanted aloneness, to really provide that community so that no one faces cancer alone.
You know, this is huge. I remember when my mother was diagnosed, I went to, I thought it was just a regular checkup. She said, oh, come with me. And the doctor came in and said, stage 4, I almost passed out because I was not prepared. And, I remember I was super young. I went back to work. I should have never gone back to work. And a lot of times people, particularly African Americans, there's no sympathy. We don't get the same family story. It's just deal with it, be strong, and move on. And a lot has changed since that, many, many years ago.
Yeah.
I'm seeing, that's why I'm happy to see you on the show today. Talk to folks. You get the news. That's a lot to take in. The first thing they told my mother is like, but don't stress out. I'm like, are you kidding me? Stress is bad. Of course it's bad. But tell us from that step, people find out they have it, they, first or second opinion, and then the families, what do you see or what's available? Some people are listening now. What do? They come to you, they come to your doorstep. How do we do it?
So you can call us. We are available via phone, email, whatever have you. Just reach out to us. I can drop our phone number and then I can tell you about the exact services that we have. Our phone number is 513-791-4060. Please give us a call. We are here to help you. Once you receive that news.
Say that one more time, because I know we're on social media, but there's people listening to us on two radio.
So let me give that to you again. It's 513-791-4060. Please give us a call.
And you serve Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky.
Correct. So we are in Northern Kentucky, we're in Dearborn County, and then we're also here in Cincinnati, and we take things out into the community. But once you receive that diagnosis, we have support groups, we have connection groups. Some are diagnosis based, some are strictly for the caregivers and the family. We have those cooking demonstrations. So if you're struggling with nutrition, come see us. We have chefs and dietitians that do samples and provide live demos. Lots of family activities. So those social activities that's contained into the whole family. We're very family friendly. Lots of different resources for things that we do not offer, because again, we are very focused on that psychosocial and emotional piece. So if there's some financial support or anything that you need, we can resource out to some of our community partners. But again, we're here, we're free, we're really available to serve you. Last year, we served over 7,000 individuals. So again, we are happy to be a support for you.
That's wonderful. Now, these services, tell us about them. Is there cost with it? Is it sliding scale? How do they?
Everything is free. I never have to see your insurance card. I don't want to see your wallet. Everything's free. Please just call us. We'll get you where you need to be. We'll get your basic information, your contact information, just some demographics so that we can be sure we're tailoring support to fit your needs. But honestly, I know when you hear free, everyone's like, no, there has to be a catch. I promise you, there's no catch. It's all free. Please just come see us and we're happy to help. We have support groups to fit all needs and activities that we are really just here to help you.
I love it. So free, y'all. And that's why this show, we try to give you information, where to go. 7,000 people being helped. That is huge. And someone who's gone through this process and didn't know where to turn, family is just it's a knockout because you don't know
Right.
what you're going to do. So I'm glad that you include the family, as well as the person that's been diagnosed. Now, what about so your services are basically once you've been diagnosed, do you do anything for people prior to encourage screenings, or is it more for the support once someone has been diagnosed?
We see more on the support side once someone has been diagnosed, but we are working with community partners in our local hospitals to include some of that preventative measures when we're planning some of our programs that we do here, because that's a big deal. We know, like you said, Black women have a higher chance of having breast cancer, but it's also getting that preventative care forefront. But we are definitely more so once you've been diagnosed or once your family member has been diagnosed, you will want to come see us. But we do still try to work with some of our community partners and overlap some of those services.
Yeah, no, that's great. Now, tell us about, you've got a big summit coming up. Tell us about that and how people can be involved.
So we have our first ever annual Health Equity Summit coming up. It's going to take place on Saturday, August 29th at the Holloman Center for Social Justice across the street from the Urban League. It will be from 9 a.m. to noon. This event is for all of our local healthcare professionals, our community leaders. It's very patient-facing organizations so that we can come together and have some of those conversations and how to close the gaps in the inequities to cancer care. And this is also a free event, but this is for our healthcare professionals to come and have this conversation because we know those disparities exist. We know that everyone's not being treated equally when it comes to their care. And we just want to be sure that we start having conversations and that call to action at the end, because what's a conversation without a plan that's follow through of what we're doing next?
No, absolutely. I think, like you were saying, we do need the healthcare professionals because, there's a difference. It's like, oh, just go along, or, just not understanding all that has to take place in the community.
Right.
Things that affect them, how to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? My mother at one time, it's kind of embarrassing. You go in, a lady shouting, this is a woman of dignity. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I need to come in there and tell them, when you come into the doctor, if I'm not there for hearing, I don't need you shouting.
Bedside manner.
It's just come in and shout, and it just, my mother, I remember just being embarrassed, like, hey, I'm not going to, I remember my father holler, come back here. He don't know everybody need to know he there.
Right.
We are people of a lot of pride, and the Black community, we were always grown to keep our things close to the family. Everybody don't need to know all your business.
Right.
And so we have to, confidentiality matters to us. And so don't come in convincing, my mother, who was in 6-inch heels and always glammed up and everything, you want to tell her, don't worry about it. Just, go on and take your hair off or whatever. That's not good. We don't,
No.
so I'm glad you're going to have this. You're going to bring everybody in that's in, from the nurses all the way up to the doctors.
Correct.
Is what you're bringing together for the first time ever.
Yeah, so we'll have 2 different panels that'll take place during this event. So we'll have one that's for the expert panels, which will be like our medical professionals, people in public health background. But then on the flip side, we also want to bring in those patients and those survivors and those caregivers. So you can have both specialties in one room, hearing their perspective of how things are maneuvering and going on, and then having that call to action at the end. So it's just very important to hear from the experts and the people who have actually lived through cancer.
Yeah, no, I think that's so good. And I really thank you for the work that you all are doing, because it is so needed. I mean, once the diagnosis comes, of course, you got to go through whatever you're going to go through. Maybe it's surgery, maybe it's, chemo, maybe it's, radiation or whatever. But I've had people that go through it too. And then some years later, now they back at it like, oh man, I don't know if I want to go through all that. And so your organization helps them, go through those moments to say, hey, keep going. You can make it.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, Asha Roan, thank you so much for being on. I want to get that phone number out one more time. because I want people, we don't have enough of this. We don't know where to turn. It's already, devastating to us. We don't know how to support mama, daddy, best friend, kids. We don't know how to do it. And we do need help. And so to have free support is so important from the cancer support community of Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. I've got a cancer caucus. I'd love for y'all to be a part of it this year with us. Give that phone number out one more time. Y'all got somebody you know got cancer, somebody in your family got cancer, you got cancer. Get this number because they've got a lot of help, and it's FREE, free. What's that phone number?
It's 513-791-4060.
And we're going to put it up on our page so people can have it because we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook right now, and we're on 2 radio stations, 1050 AM and 103.1 FM. Asha Roan, thank you for all you do.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for being on. We'll have to have you back on to talk
Absolutely.
more because, this is a serious deal with this cancer.
It sure
and we
is.
need all the help we can get. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, y'all. I was going to give y'all the behind the scenes. I'll do that next week of what it takes to put on the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame. See, y'all just put on your white. Y'all just walk on the red carpet. Y'all just be ready to rock, right? We love it. But it's a lot of preparation. And we're going to give you a little sneak peek behind the scenes next time and let you know what's going on. So when y'all call me and say, why is she so tired and busy? You'll understand. Okay. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. It is the weekend, baby. And we're going to leave you with my new song. I just love this song.
Alicia Reece, Soul Food is on your radio now. Ooh, bringing that hot sauce to your radio dial. Ooh, yeah. Alicia Reece, Soul Food is on your radio now. Bringing that hot sauce to your radio now. Alicia Reece, Soul Food is on your radio now.